Hello everyone and welcome back to BYJU'S. Let's start with our daily quiz. First question. Consider the following statements with respect to light combat aircraft Tejas. It is a single engine multi-role LCA or the light combat aircraft. Number 2. It is the first supersonic fighter jet to be developed by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. Number 3. It is the lightest and the smallest multi-role supersonic fighter aircraft in its class. And number 4, it replaced the aging MiG-21 fighter planes. You can pause the video and take an attempt at the question. The reason for this question is one PIB article which has been published yesterday. During the 13th edition of Aero India at Bangalore, the government has actually formally sealed a rupees 48,000 crore deal, the biggest Make in India defense contract with the space-run aerospace giant HAL, the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. The contract is for 83 indigenous fighter jets, the LCA Tejas. So what is LCA Tejas? Yes, it is a single-engine, multi-role, light combat aircraft. The first statement is actually correct. Tejas means radiance in Sanskrit. And it has actually replaced the very famous supersonic jet fighter and the interceptor, though now aging MiG-21 aircrafts. So yes, Tejas has actually replaced the aging MiG-21 fighter planes. The fourth statement is also correct. Now, coming to statement number 3. Yes, it is the lightest and the smallest multi-role supersonic fighter aircraft in its class. Statement number 3 is also correct. Now, let's come to statement number 2. Actually, it is the second and not the first supersonic fighter jet that was developed by HAL. The first one was the HAL HF-24 Marut, also known as the Spirit of the Tempest. In fact, Marut saw combat during the Indo-Pakistan War of 1971, but was then later phased out during the late 1980s. So this is not the first, but the second supersonic fighter jet to be developed by HAL. So the second statement is actually wrong, and hence the answer for the question is B, 1, 3, and 4. Next question. Consider the following countries: China, Laos, Cambodia, Bangladesh, and Thailand. With which of the countries does Myanmar share a land boundary? Let's see a map of Myanmar. Myanmar shares a land boundary with India, China, Laos, Thailand, as well as Bangladesh. So, China, Laos, Bangladesh, and Thailand. Myanmar does not share a boundary with Cambodia. So, the right answer for this question is A, 1, 2, 4, and 5. And now, why this question? Because one Indian Express article talks about the recent coup which took place in Myanmar. People in Myanmar honk horns, bang on pots to protest coup. Moving on. Which of the following statements with respect to Central Bureau of Investigation is or are correct? It is a statutory body under the Ministry of Home Affairs. The Director of CBI is appointed by a committee consisting of Prime Minister, Union Home Minister, and Leader of Opposition in the Lok Sabha. Again, you can pause the video and take an attempt at the question. So, statement number 1. CBI is an executive body and not a statutory body. It basically functions as an attached office under Department of Personnel and Training of the Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions. So, the first statement is wrong. Let's come to the second statement. The Director of CBI is appointed by a committee, but the committee consists of, yes, the Prime Minister and the Leader of Opposition in the Lok Sabha, but the committee does not consist of the Union Home Minister. It rather consists of the Chief Justice of India or the senior-most Supreme Court judge. Apart from this, when making recommendations, the committee also considers the views of the outgoing director. So, the second statement is also wrong. So, the right answer is neither 1 nor 2. The reason for this question is one article in Indian Express which talked about Gujarat cadre IPS Praveen Sinha, who probed the coal scam cases, has been named the interim CBI chief. Interestingly, the government has failed to appoint a new CBI director after the retirement of the incumbent RK Shukla, and Praveen Sinha has been made the interim chief. Praveen Sinha is very famous for investigating the coal scam cases and is also actually currently leading the probe into the death of actor Sushant Singh Rajput. So, moving on. Time for a prelims question. With reference to the Mia Tansen, which one of the following statement is not correct? A. Tansen was the title given to him by Emperor Akbar. Tansen composed Drupads on Hindu gods and goddesses. Tansen composed songs on his patrons. Tansen invented many rags. Ramtanu Pandey, better known as Tansen, invented the night rag Darbari, morning rag Miyaki Todi, midday rag Miyaki Sarang, so on and so forth. So, statement number D is actually right, which should not be the answer. He also composed many Drupads on Lord Ganesh, Lord Shiva, Lord Ram, and also Goddess Parvati. So, statement number B is actually right, so it should also not be the answer. Apart from this, he has also composed songs on his patrons. So C is not the answer as well. Tansen was a title given to him not by Akbar but by Raja Vikramjit of Gwalior. In fact, he was actually a court musician in the Darbar of Raja Ramchandra of Bandhavgarh before being made one of the Navratnas in Akbar's court. And Akbar bestowed upon him the title of Mia, and hence the name Mia Tansen. So the right answer is A, which is the incorrect statement. It's now time for the fact of the day. The Scheduled Castes and Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act 1989. And why this question? Yesterday, one Indian Express article talked about crimes against SCs and STs increased in 2019. Government tells Rajya Sabha. See, as per the latest Crime in India 2019 report published by NCRB, crimes against members of SCs and ST communities have increased by 7.3% and 26.5% in 2019. So, let's understand the Act through a question. Which of the following statements with respect to the Scheduled Castes and the Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act 1989 is incorrect? A. The term atrocity is not defined anywhere in the Act. B. The investigating officer shall not require approval for the arrest, if necessary, of any person against whom an accusation of having committed an offence under this Act has been made. C. State government shall, with the concurrence of the Chief Justice of the High Court, establish an exclusive special court to deal with cases registered under the Act. And D. If any public servant who is a non-SC/ST member is found to be willfully neglecting his or her duties required to be performed by him or her under this Act, he or she shall be punishable with imprisonment of at least 6 months. Coming to the Act, the term atrocity is actually defined in this Act. Section 3 of the Act actually defines a list of atrocities. For example, garlanding with footwear, dumping excreta on premises occupied by SC/ST members, among other activities. So, statement number A is incorrect, which actually is the right answer. Coming to the next statements, the investigating officer shall not require approval for the arrest. Yes, the investigating officer did not take the approval before arresting someone. This has actually been added via Section 18A in 2018. See, state government shall, with the concurrence of Chief Justice of the High Court, establish an exclusive special court, which is to be done by a notification in the official gazette, and this can be done in one or more districts. So statement number C is actually correct. And finally, whoever, being a public servant but not being a member of SC or ST community, willfully neglects his or her duties, whether it is registering FIRs or recording statements of victims, among other things, can actually be punished with an imprisonment of at least 6 months, extending up to 1 year. So D is also correct. The only incorrect statement is A, which states that atrocity is not defined, whereas atrocity is actually properly and elaborately defined under the Act, under Section 3. So the right answer is A. That's all for today. Thank you.